Do I feel good today? What is up, DTL Universe? This is your daily sports and sports betting brand of record. We call it Driving the Line. We're live on Stadium every single weekday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We are also simulcast on our YouTube channel for all of you degenerates out there. Now, we do want to thank our partners at Stadium, because wherever you find Stadium, you will find us. How about Amazon Prime Video? You damn right. YouTube TV, you betcha. Roku TV, the Stadium app. We're all over the Stadium app. And, of course, watchstadium.com. This is our schedule. We're dropping content every day, all day. And you better just turn on your notifications, subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff. And you see I got my baseball hat on today because this is a glorious day. It does feel like kind of Christmas morning a little bit because we have the look ahead to the NFL, but also the Major League Baseball playoffs start today. Kind of started yesterday with that amazing 8-7 game one with the Mets and the Braves. But if you are new to our brand, we're also the most transparent and fun brand in the world. We always show you what we did the day before. Now, Z-Man, hey, he was having a rough day anyway with the Dolphins. So he didn't have the best day, but we are a crew for a reason. How about 4-1? 4-1. My man, Big Chuck, 2-1. Also hit his crew exclusive. If you're not a member of our premium club, I encourage you to do it right now. You get so much extra content there every single day. Now, the man that would have loved this time of year is our man, rest in peace, Howie Schwab. And today, you get to choose. What do you want to play together? Synergy. Tigers, Astros, game one. The total. You know it's playoffs when it's 6.5. Royals, Orioles, over 7. Mets, Brewers, over 7.5. Braves, Padres, over 7. You guys vote. Producer man will let me know at the end of the show what we are playing together. But ladies and gentlemen, and for you OGs that watch every single day, you know I've got the best crew in the business, and it's not close. So without further ado, we're not doing the picks first today. But I will tell you that the DTL podcast drops around 2 p.m. Eastern. You get the video if you're a premium member. And let's bring in, three faces that I love so very much, because we're not doing the picks for about 15 to 17 minutes because we got to dig right into Major League Baseball. Now, who gets our 15 seconds today? I hate to admit it because it's almost like he owns this spot. You two need to be better. I'm calling you out right now. 3 out of 4. Raphael's like, I don't give a damn. Big Chuck, 3 out of 4 if you include the crew exclusive. You get our 15 seconds this morning, sir.
Morning, Coach. Crew, yeah, fortunate enough to have a nice day. We're also going to send a shout-out to AB on his excellent day, so never forgotten over there, AB. So excited MLB playoffs. We got some Champions League. It's just a slam-packed week. We got the NHL starting on Friday. Who could ask for more?
You're damn right. Who could ask for more? Now, as Omar said, it is October baseball. My numbers guy is going to be digging in every single day. Raphael, good morning, sir.
Morning, Coach. Good morning, crew. It's not how many tickets you cash in a day. It's the quality and quantity of the tickets you cash a day. You can have one big play like I did on the Lions. It didn't matter. I had a great evening. Nice wrestling show. Nice to close out the evening. Thank you, Coach.
Did you watch The Last Word, perhaps?
Yes, I did. I was not chiming in because I'm still working on a horrible debate odds that I have to watch and grade tonight.
Oh, God. Your horrible day job, as we like to call it. By the way, for you behind the turnbuckle fans, BTT, I called the bosses at Stadium, and I said I feel like we need a little more wrestling content. I'm still waiting on a call back, but I feel really good about it. I feel like The Last Word would be perfect on Monday nights right here on Stadium. Now, this man was on DTL Primetime Live last night. He's got the best beard in the game. Soupy, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I think producer man is mad at me because I called him out yesterday for not fixing one of my lines because I went 3-1 last night too. So I did pretty well myself on the primetime show.
So you don't think that's calling out producer man right there?
I think he's mad at me for calling him out last night. So
there's no question. There's no question. Producer man is pissed.
Yeah. No, he made sure. He made sure to tell me.
Yeah. I mean, he literally said, you cannot give the 15 seconds to Soupy today.
Yeah.
I said, okay, you call the shots. You call it. Normally we think Chuck calls the shots, but today, producer man, and he's pissed at you.
See who's getting mad at me. I still have never seen what producer man looks like.
It's going to take a special day.
The Oz.
Say, Chuck?
Like the Oz.
Yeah, he is like the Wizard of Oz. He's behind the curtain. You just never know. All right, guys, let's get into it. We got 4 big games today. The first game starts at 2:30. Let's put up that gorgeous graphic that we have prepared today. And there it is, the Tigers. And Raphael, maybe the biggest shock of the entire playoffs is that Detroit's still playing. So they travel to Houston, who is a resident in the postseason. You see the numbers according to DraftKings, minus 150. That's just for game 1, the total of 6.5. Let's start right there, Raphael.
Yeah, I'm still blown away that the Lions and Tigers are playing some good football and baseball right now. And the Tigers are in the playoffs. A lot of money came in on the Tigers early. Houston money coming in this morning as we speak. So this one's going to be very interesting to see who dominates the ticket window in the next couple of hours. A great pitching matchup. I can't wait. This is almost like the best game is in the morning, and then the best game is the last one between the Padres, because we all want to see how the Braves handle the evening game and that long flight.
A long flight last night. That's what happens when you play on what's supposed to be an off day. Jared in the chat says, Scooble time. And Big Chuck, whenever Scooble's on the mound for Detroit, I mean, I guarantee you that half of our audience hasn't watched one Detroit game all season long. They are a good squad with 2 very good pitchers. Talk to me.
And they have A.J. Hinch returning to Houston also, so I'm sure that'll be another narrative they'll play into. So, yeah, the Tigers have been enjoyable to watch, good team to back to make some money this season. So, but running up against this Astros team and all their experience, I don't know if they're quite prepared for that, but it's still a good story, the Tigers making the playoffs.
Yeah, you can talk about it all the time, but once that red light goes on, once it's sold out in Houston and Detroit says, wait a second, Subi, that could be a different animal. I think what will help them is not having to wait all day and getting that first game out of the blocks.
Definitely, because this is a team that really doesn't have any playoff experience, but Detroit was hot. You always talk about the hot teams going into the playoffs. 33-12 after August 11th. That's the best record in the league. 2.62 ERA. Best ERA in the league since that time. You got to see if the experience can play out how hot a team is in the Astros. Astros, same thing. They were 33-40 at one time, 10 games out of the AL West. They charged up as the Mariners plummeted, and that's how we're in this situation.
Never give up. By the way, Matt in the chat says, all the homies love producer man. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, they say as well. The chat's popping already this morning, but do me a favor. Hit that like button on the way in, please. It really helps the show grow. I keep telling you that, so please hit that like button. I'd appreciate it. Game number 2, my squad. I was the only person on the East Coast from 2002 to 2006, because they told me, that had a Kansas City Royals debit card from Bank of America, Raphael. Remember when they made those team cards back in the day? I had one. I live and breathe the Kansas City Royals. They're on the road. The Orioles have now caught fire at the end of the season, playing well at the right time. Minus 160. Total at 7. Talk to me.
Yeah, I also had a Cubs one, and then I got married, and the wife took away that Cubs one. So that's how life goes. But I really like the Royals in this spot. Plus money. Yes, I know Baltimore got red hot, but I'm not 100% sold on Burns today. I think the Royals will play small ball early, try to pressure him, try to get the pitch count high early. I like the Royals. That plus money. And wait, because the Baltimore Orioles action will come in just because they were the story all summer long, all baseball season long. If you like the Royals, you can get a fantastic number if you wait for before the first pitch.
What perhaps, I didn't look at it right now, but I'm assuming that the run line, if while I'm talking to Soupy, Raphael, if you could look that up for me, the run line on the Royals might be pretty nice. It might even still be plus money, depending on what that looks like. Soupy, today coming in, the Royals, they kind of limped to the finish line. They didn't play great baseball down the stretch.
They didn't play great baseball down the stretch, but neither did the Orioles, really. They started 58-38 in the first half. They went 33-33. And if it really wasn't for the Yankees kind of just not playing as well either, they may have gotten to that American League, won that American League East. what Raphael said, they need to get to Corbin Burns early, try to get him out, try to get to that bullpen, because the bullpen hasn't really been that good. It's been Corbin Burns that has really helped that rotation. They need to also get this series into the third game, try to get to the back of that Orioles rotation, because it is not as strong as the top.
That's exactly right, Charles. If you can get to that bullpen early and often, you got a chance to beat this Baltimore team.
Absolutely, and as much as I hate to say it, because everyone should know how much I'm backing this Orioles team, but I really like the Kansas City today, and I'm liking the under also. I think we see a low scoring one in Baltimore.
We are going to have later in the show, every single one of us, including myself, will pick a National League winner, a American League winner, and who's going to win the whole damn thing for the World Series. Raphael, what number do you got for me?
Well, the Royals are plus 1.5, minus 175 is probably the lowest number out there. DraftKings has it minus 180 at plus 1.5. That number could move because I said it's the second game. Betting will probably pop in, so that one might come down. You can maybe get a minus 165 if you wait.
I was way off on that one, so I apologize. But minus one, I might, playoff games are a lot of one-run games in a lot of instances. Now, we've got two teams, Raphael, that had to travel last night. The Mets are one of them. There was no way, after they won the first game and controlled their destiny, that they were going to choose, and I say choose because they did not play hard in that second game at all, to go to San Diego instead of going to Milwaukee, which is where they ultimately are ending up today at 5:30. So they traveled last night after a doubleheader. What kind of energy can we expect?
I think the Brew Crew is going to have the most energy. Laying a soft minus 140 at home, getting well rested. They rested a lot of their starters over the weekend, knowing that they were in that situation, winning that division early. I like the Brew Crew. And if there's one game that has the most runs, this could be that game. We all know the Brewers love to score runs at home. Again, playing small ball, not relying on the home run like every team in Major League Baseball. Look for the highest scoring game. This one, I think Severino has a tough outing in Milwaukee today.
Soupy, do you think that as well?
I'm not sure, because what the Mets need is they need a long outing from Severino, because they just had a doubleheader yesterday and they have the potential to play 5 straight games. So Severino needs to go at least 6 to kind of give that bullpen some rest, because if you do go an extended series, that could be trouble towards the end. I do like Milwaukee at home. Freddie Peralta, not the best season he's had, but I think he can hold it down. I do think they could get the game 1 win.
And now the other team that's traveling today is the Braves. And somebody in the chat said they like the Braves first 5 minus a half. Big Chuck, I do too. The Padres have been on fire to close out the season. The Braves, doubleheader yesterday, incredibly emotional. They lose the first game, then the second game. They have to win. They did. And now travel Atlanta to San Diego, Delta Flight 765. What can we expect from the Braves today? I like that Padres first 5 play.
Yeah, I like it also. And the first 5 under 4 might be a look. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. I could see a 2-1, 2-0, 1-0. I think it's going to be incredibly low scoring with these two pitchers. So the first 5 under 4 looks like a good look to me. And then Padres to win the first 5. And on that Brewers, you can also look at that Brewers team total. I think it could be probably like a 4-1 game. I do agree it'll probably be the highest scoring, but I can still see it staying under the 7.5, maybe 4-1, 5-1, something like that.
All right, those are the 4 games today. First game starts at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, and then you got to follow us on social media. We're always throwing out information, picks, free picks, all that kind of stuff. All right, still to come. We're just getting started on a beautiful Tuesday morning. We have all of our picks for today all leapt into one. And what did Dikembe and Pete Rose mean to their respective sports? This is DTL in the Morning, live on Stadium. And for all of you degenerates out there, you OGs, we continue on here on our YouTube page. And as I look up last night, gentlemen, and I look at the night that Jared Goff had, 42-29. Raphael, you were all over the Lions last night. How about a perfect 18 for 18, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he caught a touchdown pass. Is this the best performance of all time by a quarterback?
Ooh, I don't know about all time because his name's not Jaden Daniels in your eyes. If that was Jaden Daniels, we would have started the show off with that stats. But this was that touchdown catch was pretty amazing. He didn't even look up until the last second to catch that ball. I was more shocked at the touchdown pass. But the greatest performance of all time, it's not a Super Bowl or a playoff game. It's just a Monday Night Football game. You had to beat the Titans-Dolphins viewership.
Wow, so negative. That's so negative. Soupy, is this the greatest performance of all time?
Absolutely not. It's a great performance to go perfect like that and to be able to be a Seattle team you had lost 3 straight to. Yes, it's a great performance by Jared Goff. They kind of needed this. I don't know if the offense looked great in the first 3 weeks, but now you saw Gibbs getting his run, Monty getting his run, Sam Laporta played great after being injured for a couple weeks. Another great from Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams back in the mix. The offense looks like it was last year, and I think this is good momentum for him.
What about you, Big Chuck? Am I the only crazy one?
You're not crazy, but I don't think it's the very best. Phil Simms had a pretty good one in the Super Bowl. He went 22 of 25, so that's one that come with the titles. But he had an excellent night. I wouldn't say the best all time though.
Why does it have to be a championship night to be the best performance? That's the part that I don't understand. It doesn't.
Okay, Brett Favre's
Monday
Night
Super Bowl
game. Brett Favre's Monday Night Football
It's
game.
the Raiders.
That was fantastic.
Yeah,
He wasn't perfect. He was not perfect. He did not catch a touchdown pass. I'm talking collectively, but that's why we discuss it. And that's why I'm always right. And I get my one shot. Thank you, producer man. We are back live on Stadium in 5 seconds. All right, welcome back to DTL in the Morning, live on Stadium with Raphael, Soupy, and my man, Big Chuck. It is now time. We're putting all of our picks together. I know normally we separate them out. We have so much content this morning, we had to put them together. But as you know, Big Chuck is the producer of this show. So whatever Charles wants, Charles gets. So I have one play to start this morning. Charles, where are we headed, sir?
The second wave of Champions League matches resumed this week, with Slovakian side Slovan making their Champions League debut this season. Unfortunately, the Whitehawks, they get Premier League champions Manchester City, who are averaging 2 team goals away from home. This one could get ugly, Coach. I have the Citizens scoring a minimum of 4 goals today, so I'll happily take Man City team total over 3.5 and a stay on your toes live play backed by popular demand. Man City first half team total over 1.5 goals, so I'll combo those together to start the Champions League day.
Wow, a stay on your toes hashtag. It pays to watch live play this morning right here on DTL. Now, Super, you got 4 plays today across the spectrum. What do we got?
I'm going to start with the WNBA. Sun Lynx. The Sun have been controlling this game. That means they're playing their excellent defense. That is how they beat the Lynx in 4 to 5. This under has also gone in 4 of the 5 matchups this year. The only one that went over, that was an overtime game. And now we are going to hit the diamond. Orioles team total over the first 5. Cole Reagans, the Orioles are batting .324 against Reagans. Last time he pitched against the Orioles, gave up 7 earned in 1 2/3 inning. They're going to score very early. And then let me go with Luis Severino. I mentioned that he needs to have an extended start to kind of give that bullpen a little bit of a rest. I think he's going to do that tonight. I think he goes at least 6 innings, possibly move into the 7th. Give me his over 16.5 outs. And Tarek Skubal. Pitchers, especially starting pitchers, sort of need their rest, but they also have, sort of these just things that they need to do during their time. When Skubal gets 6 days of rest, 2.90 ERA, 0.92 walk hits per inning, I think he keeps them under 4.5 hits.
Don't do it, Coach. Don't do it.
I told you, I'm still rusty. I've only done 2 shows in the last 2 weeks.
I have to follow that.
Raphael, you're up, sir.
I don't know if I should spell mine or just speak properly. Aces. I'm going to the WNBA in the playoffs. The first game, we're going with the Aces team total over 80.5. They lost game one. It was at the Barclays Center. I know tonight's game's at the Barclays Center. And I know the Aces are only averaging 75 points per game in their last 4 meetings, but they need a big W to even up this series. I think the Aces come out strong. Stalled in the fourth quarter last game. I don't see this one. I like the team total over 80.5 for the Aces. And then we're going to the Padres, the Fathers, as I like to call them. Give me the San Diego Fathers team total over 3.5. I can see the Fathers crushing a team that we have no idea who's pitching for the Braves. It's undecided. Undecided has not pitched well all baseball season long. I just think the Padres come out strong and give a tired Braves the first loss in this series. And then we go to Screwball. We already talked about the Detroit Tigers starter. Give me the 7+ strikeouts, plus 130. His last 5 starts, he's averaging 7 strikeouts. Just give me one more. I think he goes 6, 7+ innings. I think he goes for 8+ today. I'll take the plus 130.
I love all those plays. I think you guys have a lot of good insights. I love the Severino play because they do need a long outing from their starter. I love Scooble. He is the most underrated pitcher in all of baseball. He is fantastic. And also, Soupy, in a weird way, you're creating kind of a cult following here at DTL. Matty Ice says, I'm just laughing my ass off. We need phonics for Soupy. Austin says, words are hard, Soupy. We all know that. And DJ says, Soupy, you're simply the man.
Thank you.
Thank
you. I love the crew. I know. Sometimes words are very hard, but I always love the support of the crew.
We're a crew, baby. We're a family for a reason. And I love to laugh. So every now and then I like to poke the bear just a little bit. Now, Big Chuck, you gave us a Man City play. You think they're going to win 7-0 today. That's what I just had a vision. But you have 3 other plays. And I believe all of these games start at 3 p.m. Eastern time, correct?
That's correct, Coach.
Okay. Give me your other 3, sir.
Next, we go to the Netherlands, where PSV's home games have averaged 3.7 total goals as they welcome Portuguese outfit Sporting to town, whose road matches have averaged 4.5 total goals. I have a 2-2 type projection in this one, so I'll back the over 3 full-time goals and the first half. Both teams to score in the first half. I have a 1-1 projection with PSV scoring in 5 of 7 first halves and Sporting in 6 of 7 at a nice plus 245. Lastly, we go to Germany, where we have German and Italian participants as Bayer Leverkusen home games have averaged 6 total goals on the new campaign, and AC Milan matches that produced 3 or more total goals in 12 straight. So give me another over 3 as I see 2-1 at worst, but more like a 3-1, 2-2 type final score.
Oh, these two teams have been offensively absolutely on fire. I can't believe it wasn't 3.5. I think it's because it's a Champions League. They brought it down a little bit, and we've kind of struggled in the Champions League to get goals. But these two teams, they should light it up. By the way, Raphael, somebody's challenging you in the chat. Carl says, the numbers guy underestimating the Liberty's defense. Can I challenge that play? And your response to that would be, Raphael?
Sure, challenge the play. One of us will cash. I'm not greedy. If I lose, hats off to you. You cash. But I just think the Aces want to even up this series before they go home. They're the defending champs. They're playing much better so far.
I feel like you have a little bit of an attitude this morning, Raphael. Just a little bit of an attitude. Usually on days when we tape Betting the Turnbuckle, you have a little bit of an attitude, which we will tape later today. We're going to have all kinds of picks for Bad Blood this Saturday. Relax, wrestling fans. We got you covered. But Raphael, I like the edge. Speaking of edge, we did not have much of an edge yesterday. It was kind of a sad day, and we really didn't give our guys time to respond or give their full take. It's time to educate, entertain. All right, this is going to be one question, 2 guys, and I would love your takes because we love sports. We love sports betting, but this has, well, not really nothing to do with betting because That's what this man was most known for. Yesterday, we lose two legends, Dikembe Mutombo to brain cancer, and also Pete Rose at the age of 83. Raphael, let me come over to you. What did they mean to their respective sports?
Mutombo he was probably more noticeable after his career because he always had to follow great centers in Georgetown. He was never that key guy. Maybe when they Denver they were in game 7 or game 1 of that 7-game series, but he was always well known about what he did outside the NBA. So that's why I will always remember Mutombo. But Pete Rose kind of hit me hard. I mentioned it a little bit last night. Sitting down with Pete Rose for years when I used to work at Caesar's Palace, he would bet the dogs in Emerald Downs like there was no tomorrow. So I got to know Pete Rose, not the gambler side of him, but the guy that was just sitting there watching the dogs and just shooting the shit, just enjoying life at Caesar's Palace. So that one took heart. Even my buddy who sat next to me, Labs, that worked with me at Caesar's Palace, who introduced me to Pete Rose, he actually texted me last night. Haven't heard from him in a while, just going back and forth telling Pete Rose stories last night while I was watching football. So Pete Rose kind of hit me hard just because I used to talk to him all the time at Caesar's Palace.
I like the fact that we have so many good stories. I think sometimes as human beings, we forget about that aspect of just living life. We go, oh, this person's known for this or this. Sometimes you just got to say, you know what? Kind of a fun dude to be around. A lot of WWE folks said he was great when he made a special appearance there. He had a negative story attached to him, but that's not who he was. And at the end, we should have these good stories. Soupy, your thoughts on Dikembe Pete Rose passing away same day?
Dikembe, again, well known after his career. He's known for, of course, the finger pointing and just being a great humanitarian. I believe the NBA world just lost a well-known figure and a great person. And I said it last night, Pete Rose is, to me, one of the greatest hitters, pure hitters of all time. My 3 are Tony Gwynn, Ichiro, and Pete Rose. Those are 3 guys. If you want to learn how to hit a baseball, you watch their videos. An incredible loss for both these guys.
Over 4,000 hits, Big Chuck. There is no disputing what this man did on the field. And then Dikembe, you could go anywhere in this world, literally, and not one person will say anything bad about this man. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Charlie Hustle and Dikembe. And what normally is sad is that they normally come in 3s. So I was wondering if we would have another soon, but I didn't know it'd be the same day. So yeah, I grew up with both. I can still see Dikembe laying on the ground after they beat the Supersonics. So great humanitarian, like the gentleman said. And then Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle. Hate that he never got into the Hall of Fame. Now, this is my question. Do they let him into the Hall of Fame now that he's passed? Will they go back and let him in now that he's not able to be celebrated while he's alive?
Well, if these old guys can get out of their own way, and most of the voters for the Hall of Fame are old, crusty, and out of touch, and they love to judge people. Austin says Pete Rose was banned for life. He agrees with you. Now that he's gone, if they don't put him in the Hall of Fame, I think it's complete BS. I have a tendency to agree with that. I think as we all start to get a little bit older in life, that we start to look at things differently just a little bit. I know that I do. And so hopefully some of these voters will feel the same way. We don't have time to get into our other topic. We'll get into it at the break on our YouTube channel. But Raphael, I'll give you the final. Give me 30 seconds of just a really quick Pete Rose story that made you laugh.
He'd always like to bet the dogs. We have a separate window just for him because we were book the dog action, and he would run. I've never seen him run faster to a window to bet a quinella than he was for stealing second base. So I would always watch him run to the window to try to get a quinella in at dog betting.
Oh, my God. I remember the first time the dog track opened in Wichita, Kansas. I won $1,500, stopped at my parents' house. They had just bought me tires for my car. I was in college. I gave them the money to put into the bank, and that money for the tires was mysteriously out of that deposit. They tried to teach me a lesson. Clearly it worked. All right, it's time for a quick break here on Stadium. When we come back, we're looking ahead. We're trying to beat the lines in the NFL. Having a glorious Tuesday right here live on Stadium. All right, for all you degenerates out there, we continue on here on our YouTube page. And Raphael, last night, I can't believe that you did not text me when all the videos of the very first media day, including LeBron James and Bronny, came out. I mean, this is This is front page news. Why didn't you put odds out on it, on how annoying it would be all day?
Because I was actually kind of shocked at how slimmed down Zion Williams was yesterday on media day. Maybe that kind of overshadowed what LeBron and his kid did. I could care less what the Lakers are going to do today or this season, but yeah, it was kind of funny watching them two rag on each other, saying he was the worst interview of all time. So,
Soupy, this is probably going to be one of the last days where these two are laughing together, because I'm predicting 32 wins this year. They're not a good basketball team, and I think it's going to be a long, long year sitting where I'm sitting right now, 50 miles from their arena.
Extremely long, because LeBron he took the money. He took the money. He didn't want to get better players. He wanted his son on. He gave his son more money than I think any second rounder altogether, the whole second round.
Yes.
It's going to be a media fest, but, that's what they're in for. It's the Lakers. It's
4 years, $7 million? Oh, they usually get like 400,000, 500,000. They never get this. Big Chuck, are we missing something? Could they be better than what we think?
Not at all. They're probably worse than you think. So I'm not looking for much from this Lakers team. I can't believe LeBron would take the money and not just take the minimum and divvy it up so he'd have a better chance of winning the championship. But, like he gets that in endorsement. So it's not like he needed the money. So I'm still surprised that he did that. I guess that the union forced him to have to do that so others wouldn't get lower contracts. That's the only reason I can think of.
At 40 years old, why does he care? Why does he care? It's my biggest pet peeve of this whole narrative, this whole situation. If I had a chance to play with JJ on any team at any time in my life and I was a billionaire, you would never see me take more than what I absolutely had to just for the minimum. It's crazy, crazy. All right, we're back on Stadium Live in 5 seconds. All right, welcome back. We are live DTL on a glorious Tuesday morning here on Stadium. Wherever Stadium is, you will find us, YouTube TV, Amazon Prime Video, Roku TV, the Stadium app, tons of little clips and shorts and reels all over the app, and also watchstadium.com. Today, as we cross the bottom of the hour, I've got 3 of my absolute very best. Raphael is here. Soupy is here. And Big Chuck is here. And you guys know on Tuesdays, it's never too early to start the look ahead. How do we beat the lines? Because I hate getting tweets, guys, on Sunday morning. Oh, Coach, that number's already gone. Well, we talked about it on Tuesday. So let's start. And this is a sneaky, really good game. The Bucks laid it on the Eagles last week. Now they have to travel to Hotlanta to take on the Falcons. Last second, Coolville, as Raphael likes to say. And according to DraftKings, -1.5 is the number. The total sitting at 43.5. Soupy, let's start with you. Should Atlanta be the favorite in this one?
I think just purely because they're home, they should be the favorite, because they've both been really good this year. I got the edge to Tampa Bay. I just like their synergy a little bit more. Baker has carried that excellent season last year. He's carried it over this year. Mike Evans is playing great. Now you're seeing Bucky Irving coming through as a great rookie running back. Chris Godwin's doing his thing. I just think this team's a little better. I think they do come out with the win.
My apologies, Soupy, but while you were giving us that great take, your bitter rival can't even talk trash the right way. You would think that on a night that DG gets into the club, he would not show up 34 minutes late to the show and then make a joke about, it was a long night in the club. My apologies, everybody.
Did you see the shirt he was wearing? I'm surprised they did let him in the club. They probably put him in the back behind the DJ. They didn't want to see him. They didn't want to see anybody wearing that polo in the club.
By the way, producer man, can you block Dan? He says everyone but Coach is on the club. At least if you're going to insult me, Dan, write it correctly. But you're right. I'm not in the club yet. And producer man, you don't have to block him. All right, Raphael, let me come over to you, because the Falcons have had a lot of close games so far this year. They don't have a big margin for error. And the Bucks, outside of their loss to the Broncos, have looked fantastic.
That's right, Coach. I'm not in the club either, so maybe me and you can start a club. But let me talk about line movement on two. Line movement in the NFL are two key dates: Tuesday afternoon, late afternoon, and Thursday morning. Those are key dates when line movements are really big. Thursdays because parlay cards come out in Vegas and all the other books. That's when big movement is. So Tuesdays get the best number. This one right here, the Atlanta one. This one opened up -3 a week ago, went to 2.5. Moved to 1.5 late last night. So it's going to be very interesting to see if we see a 1. Tampa Bay money continues to flood in because of the injuries that Atlanta suffered beating the Saints. It's going to be very interesting what Thursday's closing number will be. I like Tampa Bay right now, but if the number keeps on dropping, I might have to look at Atlanta.
It's Thursday Night Football. We're going to have a full primetime show right before it. Big Chuck, will this number, I love that information, by the way, Raphael, will this number be right there come Thursday night?
I'm be interested to see how it moves because as of today, I like the Falcons, but I would go on the money line. It kind of reminds me of the Saints game. But what's more interesting, I'm looking at this total. I would really back the under. We know primetime under, so yeah, I would think the Falcons money line and the under is the way I would look at this one. So, but yeah, I'm interested to see how these numbers move and if Raphael Schefter reports them.
DTL Primetime Live, 7 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, right here live on Stadium. We're getting some haters in the chat today, guys. Jared says y'all can't go a day without talking about the GOAT. Make your picks and move on. Well, Jared, we didn't even talk about LeBron James on Stadium. We have breaks on our YouTube channel. That's where we talked about him. But if that's not okay with you, my apologies. Guys, my bad. Talking about the greatest player statistically of all time. Sorry, Jared. We will move on to our next game as we look ahead to the NFL, which is the king of all sports, period, full stop. Now, the Vikings are now the only undefeated team in the NFC. Who had that on their bingo card? And now coming to town, a man sort of coming to town because they're playing overseas. It's a 9:30 a.m. Eastern start. You've got Aaron Rodgers, Raphael, and he's in a fight with his head coach. They're 2-2, but man, did they look bad, only scoring 3 field goals against the Broncos and losing at home. Does Minnesota improve to 5-0, and what do you make of the number?
I'm sorry, Vikings Jets. If you're playing at Tottenham Stadium, I want to see a soccer match. I don't want to see a football match. But since we're forced to watch this one, I'll watch this one. This one tells me the NFL script will probably give us a Jets big victory over the Vikings, and the Jets are back, and Aaron Rodgers is back, and everything's all hunky-glory in the NFL. But I am sold on this Minnesota team, not because of their offense. Their defense is lights out. I think Minnesota stays perfect and beats the Jets, and we might see a new head coach in New York maybe in the next couple of weeks. But I like the Vikings in this spot.
The Vikings laying 2.5. That's the number right now at ESPN Bet. The total, a very low 40.5. Soupy, your take?
The Vikings are winning on both sides of the line of scrimmage. That's how you build a winning championship. That's how Sam Darnold's become such a great player, because that offensive line is protecting him. Aaron Jones is playing very well too, and he's getting it to Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison came back, and he had a touchdown last week, and they're getting TJ Hawkinson back eventually. When these games are in London, I always tend to lean to the under just because of the time shift. 40.5 is tough. I would consider teasing it up a little, but I actually would hit the under 40.5 because I always think that these are low scoring games.
The Jets, I played the under last week, 39.5. They only scored 19. They are playing, Charles, to protect Aaron Rodgers. And if that's what it's going to look like, it's going to be a long season for the Jets. And Soupy just laid it out very, very nicely. Minnesota has weapons. They have weapons that are still to come back, which will make them better. Your take?
I'm actually liking the Jets in this spot. I'm hoping it gets to 3 also. If not, could probably buy it up to that key number of 3. I think the regression has to come for these Vikings. Plus Aaron Rodgers, 17-11 in career against the Vikings. But I agree with the under. I think the under would be the best look in this one. And then Darnold to throw an interception. I think that's another look that I would be all over.
Sam Darnold right now, you could make him an MVP. Raphael, go.
We could see a 3 on this one, about 85% of money coming in on the Vikings over at DraftKings. And let's face it, they're undefeated. People are going to see that. So we could see a late 3 in this game.
Thank you, numbers guy. I appreciate you. I also appreciate Peggy. She says, Coach, it's always best to enter the club when they're already there and they watch you enter. I never looked at it like that, Peggy.
That's pretty
Thank you
good.
very much.
Fashionably late.
Fashionably late is right. Thank you, Peggy. And if I get a +1, you are my +1 for making me feel better. Unlike Dan, who says, I love giving Coach hell. He can take it. I can take it from you, Dan. But I'm telling you right now, last night when DG got into said club, I may or may not have a couple of holes on my walls. May or may not. May or may not. By the way, the Lions, they play the Vikings next week. If the Vikings can get past the Lions, Rams, Colts, Jags, Titans, Bears, Cardinals, they are set up, gentlemen, for a phenomenal year. If they can get past the Lions, they could go to 9-0, 10-0 very easily.
Grab that down on MVP. Grab that MVP price now. If they beat the Lions and that the rest of that schedule, he can win MVP and comeback player of the year. You can maybe parlay that.
Wow, I could win. Do you know what the number is on either one right now off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head.
All right. Well, we'll be talking about them a lot, so we'll get to that. Now, this next game, and to me, you talk about rookie of the year. He's a guy that Raphael is very quickly warming up to in the nation's capital. And the Commanders, the last 3 games, they punted 1 time because their offense has been so good. 38 against Cincinnati, 42 against Arizona. Now they must travel to Cleveland to take on a Browns team, Soupy, that is not very good at all. Deshaun Watson, perhaps the worst contract in the history of the league. Do the Commanders continue this role?
I think they do. This is just – I'm so shocked about how Washington's been playing. They don't have a great defense, so I think this could be a higher scoring game than what Cleveland has played throughout the year. But what Jaden Daniels is doing is incredible. Just be able to – the ability to run, the ability to make plays, and just use all these weapons that he had. Definitely, for me, offensive rookie of the year. And we're looking – this is the second straight year that the number 2 pick is playing better than the number 1 pick.
Yeah, my apologies. They are playing at home. Cleveland comes to Washington. The number is 344.5. And Big Chuck, there is no question. I don't think anybody thought that Jaden Daniels would play this good this early and that Washington, not Philly, not Dallas, would be leading the NFC East.
Yeah, because the main thing we kept hearing was his offensive line, so he was going to struggle behind that line. But, yeah, he's come in and went above and beyond expectations. So we'd love to see it. But I agree with Soupy in this game. I think it's going to be a lot of points, and I'm kind of liking the Browns in this spot also, and I would like their team total. So I think this may be a letdown spot for your Commanders in a high-scoring game.
Well, apparently Raphael has a third brother named Sean in the chat. He says, as a fan, I'm holding my excitement until November. Raphael, that's just like you, big boy. Just like you.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Chuck on this one. This one we could see 4 on this. And if it's a 4 number, I'm jumping all over on this. And Sam Darnold, 13-1, anywhere to 15-1 to win MVP, plus 220 for comeback because all the money's on Rodgers. There's some guy named Rodgers. But I agree. This is a nice spot for Cleveland. Even though their defense has not played like it did last year, we could see their defense step up on this one. They don't want to get embarrassed by a rookie quarterback. If the number continues to move upwards, I might take a shot at the Cleveland Brownies.
Jason says, wait, what? Bears took wrong pick again? Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so.
Bears won last week.
They did win last week, and they won week 1 over the Titans. So they are 2-2. And they're at home this week to the Panthers. But it's not the same Panthers that we saw the first couple of weeks. They can actually score points. So we'll see what happens in Chicago. All right, having a great morning. Chat is popping. Don't forget to hit that like button for us. Coming up next, who's going to win it all? Futures on the Major League Playoff Series and everything. Next is DTL live on Stadium. We continue on our YouTube page. And an interesting story that came out, and I haven't dug real deep into it, But a former Jacksonville Jaguars employee who stole $22 million from the team has sued FanDuel in federal court, claiming the sportsbook exploited his gambling addiction and intentionally ignored his responsible gaming and anti-money laundering protocols. Raphael, you've worked for sportsbooks your entire life. You're shaking your head. Your reaction?
Every year when I worked for BetMGM and I worked at RA, we had at least 2 or 3 people trying to sue the sports books because we took advantage of them and didn't know that they had problem gambling. We are not babysitters. We are not your mom and dads. We are not your wives or husbands. Take acknowledgement of yourself. We're there to take the bets. We're not here to say, "Oh, did you bet too much?" Just like waitresses are not really responsible for giving you drinks. Now we can say, "Hey, you know what? You've had your last drink. Hey, you had your last bet. We're not going to do that." But sometimes take acknowledgement of yourself and your own issues. Don't blame it on the second party.
Yeah, this is remote betting that we're talking about, Soup. It wasn't like he was walking up to the thing and just ticket after ticket after ticket. It just, he's going to jail anyway and just trying to recoup a little bit of the $22 million. That's what it feels like to me.
This sort of reminds me of when I heard the story of how a guy spilled hot coffee on his pants and burned himself, and he sued McDonald's for it. You are responsible for your own actions. It says it all over the site, all over your app. You are responsible for your own actions. They give you all these sort of programs that you can get into if you have problem gambling. It's just someone trying to blame someone else for their own problems.
Chuck, 15 seconds.
What's amazing is our man Raphael's still saying us with the books.
That's very true.
No respect. No respect.
Mark says, does that mean we can sue phone companies for allowing the app to be put on? Very, very good point. Sue a lot of people. How about just you watch DTL, you control it, we all do it together and have a good time. All right, we're back on Stadium Live in 5 seconds. All right, having a really good, fun morning on a Tuesday. It's kind of the day of the week as we welcome everybody back live on Stadium. I am the coach with the crew. It's the hardest day to kind of get into everything. You're just coming off 2 big Monday night games, and you got to wait till Thursday for the next NFL game. But alas, today is different. Today at 2:30 Eastern Time, the Major League Baseball playoffs begin. And we will be all over every single game, every day, right here on DTL. But, gentlemen, I have tasked you with this as producer man puts up the entire picture of the postseason. So, Big Chuck, I'm coming over to you first. I need an American League winner, a National League winner, and then you got to tell me who's going to win the whole damn thing. Start us off.
Well, I'm going with the American League. I'm going with the Orioles because I'm obligated. If you remember when we first did our futures show, we're all in on the Orioles to win the World Series at around plus 1,200. So I'm obligated for them to win the American League pennant, nothing more, nothing less. But the Phillies to come out of the National League, I just think that the way that the season ended last year, they're extremely motivated. Plus to get home field advantage, I like this Phillies team to come out hungry, and then to win the World Series, I have to run with the Birds, the Orioles. Even though I do not like this series with the Royals, it's extremely worrisome, and I even think they go down 1-0 in the hole today, but still rolling with the Orioles to win it all.
The Baltimore Orioles for Big Chuck to win it all, and Phillies, who have been kind of a sexy pick all year. Soupy, you like the Phillies this year a lot, and you also like Houston. You're up.
I like the Phillies because they've been one of the best starting pitching rotations in the league this year. They still have one of the best lineups. You got to hope you have Zach Wheeler, you have Aaron Nola. You have to hope that Ranger Suarez kind of regroups himself after he had a very early Cy Young potential year. And then the Astros, they just have the experience. They have the lineup. Hopefully Yordan Alvarez is healthy and gets back into the lineup. But that pitching staff, one of the best in the second half, 4th in ERA after they struggled throughout the beginning of the season. That's what kind of hurt them when they were under 500 and a few games behind. I think it's going to be, I believe that this was a rematch from 2022, and I'm going to take Phillies to actually avenge that loss.
All right, right now the Phillies are around plus 450, plus 460 to win it all. The Orioles, Chuck, you're getting a really good number, around plus 1,200 to win it all in the World Series right now. Raphael, coming over to you, big boy. You are going a completely different way.
When I look at October baseball, I want to be entertained. I want to be, hey, you know what, there's football on, but I want to watch this baseball game. That's why I'm picking the Dodgers. I want to see Ohtani in the long stretch of the playoffs. I would love to see Ohtani host a trophy. I like the Dodgers to come out of the National League because that's what the script is telling me. That's what Ohtani did all baseball season long. Carry this team. He might even pitch for this team in the playoffs. I like the Dodgers coming out of the National League. And give me the cheaters. I would love to see cheaters versus Ohtani in the World Series. I'm going to take the Astros because of their pitching staff. I want to take the Orioles, but I was too afraid of how it struggled. I'm going to take the Astros, just like how I really wanted to take the Fathers, but I'm taking Ohtani and the Astros in the World Series. And Ohtani wins the ship to have the greatest baseball season ever played.
I think it would go down, but are we allowed to say that? Do we not have to wait 20 years to say it could be the greatest season of all time?
Unless he goes for 60-60 next year.
I mean, apparently we got to wait when somebody goes 18 for 18. I digress. Now, mine, gentlemen, is I like the Yankees. Now, they have the lowest number in the American League at plus 158, but I think the Yankees, with their power, and they will get enough hits. They've got really good pitching. I think they come out of the American League. But Brentley916, he kind of gives me a little pause. He says, I'm a diehard Phils fan, but their lineup is hot and cold, and now we'll have a week off, and the rotation is worrisome because of Ranger right now, and he is also hot and cold. Brentley, you are correct, but I think this is the year for the Phillies. I think that they will use that home crowd, that home energy, not only to get through the National League, but also to get through the entire World Series. So those are our picks, and best believe if Chuck hits, he will let you know. Now, if you were not here at the top of the hour around 10 a.m. Eastern time, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. We didn't do the picks then. We did them around 10:22. But even if you weren't here then, we got you covered. A little something we like to call the whip around. All right, this is the time of the show. We do about one nugget, 10 or 15 seconds on each play. Soupy, I'm feeling good about your four today. Start us off.
Can you believe we did the picks at 10:20? DG still wasn't here. Sun and Lynx under 152.5. The Sun have been playing. They've been controlling the series throughout. I think this stays another low score. Orioles, first 5 over 1.5. They are going to get to Cole Reagans, who they scored 7 runs off of in his last start. Tarek Skubal, 2.92 ERA, 0.95 whip. When he has 6 days of rest, he shuts out the Astros. And Luis Severino, he needs to have a long start today because of that bullpen that got a lot of work yesterday. He goes over 16.5 outs.
Wow, you did that very quickly. As Dan says, Jared is still waiting for the picks, coach. Get in and move on, damn it. That's how I feel like Jared was just yelling at us right there. It's okay, Jared. You didn't hurt our feelings. You didn't hurt our feelings. All right, Soupy, I think you're going to go 4 for 4. That's how I feel. Now, Raphael, you've got 3 plays. We got WNBA, and we have 2 baseball plays. And I love all 3. Explain yourself.
I'm going to take the Aces team total over 80.5, and I'm challenging the chat for that one minus the 3 nickels. I think the Aces just need this game. I think their offense blows up. Give me the Padres team total over over 3.5 minus 120. I think the Fathers bats crush whoever's pitching for Atlanta today. Maybe Screwball plus 7 strikeouts, plus 130. He's averaging 7 strikeouts his last 5 starts. And a little sprinkle play on Big Chuck. Big Chuck, I can make some phone calls. I can ban your accounts.
I bet you can.
Wow. Such hostility today.
I'm telling you, I told you, he's got an edge. It's wrestling day.
I like it. I think betting the turnbuckle is going to be fire later this morning. All right, Big Chuck. Another day of the newly minted, the newly formed Champions League. It's very different than the way they've done it in the past. You're up.
PSV Sporting over 3. I have a 2-2 type projection in this one. Then PSV Sporting, both teams to score in the first half. I have a 1-1 type projection at plus 245. Then we move on to Manchester City versus coach's new favorite team, Slovan. Team total over 3.5. He has a 7-0 type score line. I wonder what that exact score pays out. And then lastly, Leverkusen, AC Milan over 3. This is another one that I have a 3-1-2-2 type projection. And stay on your toes first half, Manchester City team total over 1.5 goals.
I love all three of those. By the way, there are 2 games that start at 12:45 Eastern, and I think there's 6 that start at 3 p.m. Eastern time. By the way, Chicago Pat says, for all of you non-members, become a member. We get extra picks there. You get the video of the podcast that's fresh every single day. Audio drops at 2 p.m. Eastern time. We have literally content all over the place. And you know what I also love, guys, about the universe that we're creating here at DTL is that the chat kind of polices themselves. When somebody kind of gets out of line, they take care of business. You know what I mean? I like that. They're kind of like a deputy for the coach, so I don't have to call everybody out. I kind of like that. Don't you guys? Yes?
Absolutely.
And by the way, Soupy,
Great crew.
I feel like you had a really strong show when it comes to taking shots at DG. I was really impressed by that. Did you feel good about that?
He makes it easy, so it's just is what it is. It just comes. It's too easy.
Kirk says, Charles, and this was, Kirk, I know you weren't here live, or else you would know this. Kirk says, Charles, you like Man City first half team total over 1.5?
In fact, that's a stay on your toes live play, Kirk.
Boom! That's a stay on your toes live play, Kirk. Now, I've got 15 seconds. Raphael, anything last you need to say?
No, it's great. Champions League baseball. What a great Tuesday. And it's the last Tuesday of no college football. MAC action starts next Tuesday.
Let's go. On a Tuesday, college football, then you understand this. There's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You got your marching orders. Jared, this is all for you. Let's take all of these picks straight to the pay window. My entire crew, damn it, do I love them all. Raphael, my numbers guy. Soupy, yeah, he could have been a mean kid on the bus. My man, Big Chuck, producer man, always behind the scenes. I am simply the coach. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's what we're all about every morning on Stadium at DTL. Good luck.